how the hell do you pitch a book? I've pitched my book 4 times now over Zoom calls, in real life, and over email. So if you're an old pro at this pitching malarkey, this video might not be for you, but if you are brand new, learn from some of my rookie mistakes and my just rookie observations. You might think that looking for an agent is kind of like looking for a boss, right? So you've got to approach it professionally. Your pitch is kind of like a CV showing off what you can do. Actually, it's more like dating. Hear me out. It's something that I think writers reassure themselves with all the time, is that J.K. Rowling got rejected many times. Like, people read Harry Potter and was like, do you know what? This whole fantasy thing isn't for me. Now, it's easier these days, like, you should be able to find out on the agent's website what genre of book they're looking for, but don't be disheartened if you are in their genre. If they say, I'm looking for a young adult comedy, and you submit your young adult comedy and they say, it's just not what I'm looking for. It could be any reason. They might be looking for a specific sub-theme. They might have already done a sub-theme too similar to yours and they just aren't looking to work in that anymore. They might be looking to branch out into a slightly different niche within the niche. You just don't know. You just might not be their type. That's the thing with book writing. It's so subjective. So don't take it personally. You're going to have a thick skin in this game. Just think about times you've been on a date and your friends have asked the next day, how did it go with that guy? And you've gone, yeah, he's nice. He's got a good job. He was witty. He was attractive. He's nice. You can list all those things and see someone's a really good person, but they're just not your person, and you might just not be that agent's author. And that takes me to the next point. Number 2, you're vetting the agent too. This was advice given to me by the agent that I met in real life, who said that she'd like to read my full manuscripts following the pitch, and expressed that she knew I'd be seeing other people. And advice she gave to me was, she was like, I'd like to see your book. I'd like to be one of the people that you show your book to, but I completely understand if you go with someone else. She said that she has shot herself in the foot with that advice with authors in the past who have gone to someone else. It can be tempting when you're a brand new writer, if an agent actually wants to see the rest of your manuscript and actually wants to sign you, and you've heard it's normally so difficult. People have sent their manuscripts to tens, maybe even hundreds of agents before anyone's wanted to see it, and maybe an agent has wanted to see yours within the first few pitches. So you think, oh well, I must jump at this chance. Actually, send it to a few other people too. See which one fits your vibe. Trust your gut to a certain extent on who you think might be right for you. Tip number 3. The agent comes before the publisher. Now, it's not unheard of for brand new, unknown writers to go to big publishing houses like HarperCollins and they get a deal. But I was given advice from an owner of an indie publishing house themselves, said even though it would benefit them for a writer to not have an agent, it's better for you as a writer to have an agent, because the agent has experience in the industry and they have your best interest at heart to get the best deal that they can for you, because the best deal for you, obviously they get a cut of, so it's the best deal for them. A publishing house could potentially not give you as favourable a deal because they want to make the most profit as possible. Tip number 4, big publishers are often part of big corporate conglomerates, so don't snub the indie publishers. You might think your favourite authors are all signed with the likes of HarperCollins and you want to get one of the big 5 names as well. But did you know that HarperCollins is owned by Rupert Murdoch? That's why I kept using that one as an example. I wouldn't like to think that my book was making profit for Rupert Murdoch, personally. But there are also big indie publishers now. I'll list them here, and they're worth exploring too, because they've got enough of a following to still get a good marketing team behind your back. And indie publishers are obviously worth pursuing as well, even if they're on a smaller scale, because if they're really passionate about the niche that you're writing in, they're going to put so much more effort and personability behind your book. Tip number 5. You might be thinking, loads of people publish themselves, why wouldn't I just publish myself? It's so easy on Amazon these days. Well, take it from me, as well as writing my own book, I did edit my boss's second book, who self-published through Amazon, using our company as the publishing house as well. And he could do that because he has a big following within the niche that we work in. So he has like over 20,000 followers now on LinkedIn, and the book sold a couple of thousand copies. So if you think of that percentage, if you've got a few hundred followers on Instagram and now and again you post what your favorite book is, and then you're like, I'm just gonna self-publish, and then your ego is bruised. And I've seen this happen to people before, that they haven't sold hundreds of copies of their book, that hasn't been marketed, that could be brilliant, but the right people who would appreciate it just don't know that it exists. That's why, if you're an unknown writer, it's so much better to go to a publishing house and do it the traditional way, I think, because they've got a marketing team behind them. And if you're not sure which way you want to go, start building a following, start being consistent in marketing your book alongside pitching it to agents as well, because then at least you're not setting yourself up for fail. But I wouldn't publish it by yourself just yet, because if you self-publish a book on Amazon and then get a following and then decide, actually, I want a publishing house behind this, it's likely they're not going to touch it. So if you've got real faith that your story has legs, hang on to it and keep pitching it the traditional way, but still keep trying to build your following, because obviously it does work for some people, but you've got to have that base of invested following as well. I don't just mean just loads. Some people will have a high following and have the odd people that just, drop very generic comments on their TikTok videos all the time, but you need to gauge how invested your following is. You need raving fans that are going to want to buy your book. So they're my 5 quick fire tips about pitching, but you might be thinking, yeah, they're all well and good, but I don't even have the pitch yet. What do I actually put in the pitch? Don't worry, that's coming. Like and subscribe, click the little bell, and I will see you next week, and catch me over on TikTok as well for some micro tips and observations of the industry.